I wanted to go ahead and talk about the upcoming fight at UFC 203, which is Punk versus Gall. So I've got a few notes here, and I'm going to talk about some stuff that I feel like hasn't been really spoken about yet. People are driving by, and I don't have pants on. This is weird. Okay, so if you've been following this story of CM Punk versus Mickey Gall for a while, you'll know that there was a series on Fox Sports 1 that was called Evolution of Punk. And there are a lot of people that have been looking at this tape of Punk progressing through sparring, just training at Rufus Sport. And I truly feel like people that are analyzing most of the tape of Punk in that show are looking for something they won't find. A lot of people are trying to make the assessment that he was getting better, and sometimes he looked worse on certain days and better on other days. That was like 70 or 60 weeks worth of tape, probably longer than that, if we're gonna be honest. I mean, there was showing his injuries, there were tape that was showing, his progression, and I'm gonna be honest with you, you're probably not gonna see a lot from that. You definitely see the sparring sessions. They've shown some good video of his sparring sessions. I'm not saying that all that tape is invalid, because it definitely is. I don't think we can really assess whether he got better or he got worse from watching that tape, because we didn't see a lot of it. Like, if we saw maybe 16 full-length sparring sessions, scrimmage sessions, whatever, maybe then you could make an assessment, and maybe then it can become a valid assessment, because there's so much that goes into that. Like, there's so much that goes into sparring on a daily basis with Anthony Pettis and a lot of up-and-comers that are in Rufusport that are not in the UFC yet. And there was something really interesting that I will add, because I think it is valid. CM Punk adjusts to what somebody else is doing very well. He doesn't have any of the bad tendencies from another gym where it will screw him over and he can't really figure out what's going on from the other guy, because he's been filled with other nonsense from other gyms. So that's a big point. Another thing that we can really assess from his tapes in the Evolution of Punk, which if you haven't watched it, UFC on YouTube has it all uploaded. From most of those tapes, you can really get a good assessment that he's loose. He's very loose in the octagon. He's very, very loose when he's sparring, and he looks very relaxed. But there are certain points in time where he's lunging for a shot that he isn't going to land. Another thing that we do have to note is Mickey Gall versus Michael Jackson. Mickey Gall is extremely aggressive. Dana White's looking for a fight. Even in that fight, when he won and called out CM Punk, he was extremely aggressive in the first round. He put on a pace that others couldn't match, and then when he got you up against the fence, he would start fucking you up. Michael Jackson got put out by a right hand after Mickey just kind of corralled him towards the fence and just got a really, really good right hand right on the side of the jaw. And if Punk doesn't manage his distance well with Mickey Gall and doesn't really walk around and try to stay out of Mickey's range, he's going to be in big trouble, because Mickey is so aggressive. Also, another thing to note that is really good about CM Punk is his maturity. He is a mature guy. And we look at Mickey Gall, he is a young kid trying to do what he can to, bolster himself up and make him feel better about this situation. I'm not saying that he shouldn't feel good about this situation, because he is definitely coming in as someone that we all think is going to win. Punk definitely can win. I'm not saying he can't, but the percentage, if I had to guess, I mean, Punk has got like a 30% chance in the first round. If he can make it past that first round with Mickey Gall, he's probably got a shot at it, and a really realistic one at that. But like I said, there's not a lot of tape that you can focus on Punk to really get a good idea of what's going to happen in the first round, what's going to happen in the second round. We have no idea. Evolution of Punk was very edited down, watered down, because I guess they didn't get enough airtime on Fox Sports 1 to show enough footage. I don't know. Now, the next comment that I have that people are probably going to say, I don't know if I agree with you on this, is whether he's being realistic about the fight. And I really don't think he is. I think he gives himself a little bit too much credit, if I'm going to be honest with you. And the reason that I say that is he thinks he's going to go in and just beat the fucker up. And while I agree with the fact that maybe he can do something in the second round and third round, I don't know if he's going to go in and sandblast Mickey Gall. So if I think he's being realistic about the fight, I can't say that he isn't, but I also can say he isn't being realistic. He thinks he's going to go in there and be 100% confident, and I think that the second that he gets into that octagon and the second that they let them go and fight, he's going to realize, this is going to be odd. And we also can't forget that he is sparring with badasses. He's sparring with Pettis. He's sparring with a bunch of up-and-comers in Rufusport. And, it's gonna be interesting. Because when you spar with Anthony Pettis, you've got a good idea of what you're going to be getting at later on, especially with the grappling and the wrestling end of it. Anthony Pettis doesn't have the best takedown defense in the world, but also when he lost against Alvarez is one of the best wrestlers in mixed martial arts. And he got held against the fence and babied around for a while because, Eddie knew what he had to do. So sparring with Anthony Pettis and all these up-and-comers is a big deal, especially when you see what Anthony Pettis just did at 145 pounds. He looked great. I don't know. Sparring with those guys is going to be a big deal for Punk. He's going to have a better idea of what a world-class fighter is, as well as knowing what to do when you're going up against Mickey Gall, because you sparred with Anthony Pettis for 50 weeks. So that was the video about UFC 203 with CM Punk and Mickey Gall. Thanks for watching!